If Bobby's to be Attorney General, I like the idea of Bobby and Hoover.
Hoover won't.
What he won't like is not being able to put Bobby in his pocket. He's a crook. And he doesn't like women.
Our women.
He doesn't want anyone to even touch a woman. And women don't like him. You gotta be careful, Jack.
You too, Dad.
Hoover will try and wreck everything. He's not only a crook, he's a fag. And he knows a lot about us, Jack. He's made that his business.
Are you joining us for supper?
Yes. Yeah. Jack.
I know things are different now that we don't have the campaign, but that doesn't alter the fact that I need you.
Oh, I know that. I appreciate it. You know how I feel about too many Kennedys, too many Catholics.
Well, we'll talk about it.
And, too much exposure about certain things.
What things?
You know. Personal things. Those things have to change, Jack. Especially now as Catholic president. I'm sorry, I just felt I had to say that.
I know. See you.
Okay, I'll be there.
Leo was telling me that her class held a mock election and I got beat by...
You can only control Hoover if you have Bobby in the White House with you.
I agree.
No, I'm not going to work in the White House. I'm not going to sit opposite you asking us, so what do I do next?
Well, I was counting on you doing that for me.
I'm serious, Jack. We need our own areas of responsibility the way it was in the campaign. Now, that's the fact of it.
You'd make a very good Attorney General.
No.
Yes, yes. You can be by Jack's side, and in 1968 you can follow him.
No, I don't know. Look, there's Massachusetts.
As governor? No. You deserve better.
How about a college presidency?
Or the head of a foundation?
Foundation? That's not funny.
Well, it wasn't meant to be so.
I say Attorney General.
Well, and go on chasing criminals. I've done that for the last 3 years. You know, then there's the problem with civil rights.
You'll handle it fine.
Look at it like this. There'll always be a close relationship between you two.
I know.
Now, it'll be impossible for you to work for anyone apart from Jack. Now, suppose you work for someone else. He'll know your heart and soul will be right there with Jack in the White House, day in and day out.
I don't want to work there, Dad.
In God's name, why not? What do you think, Sarge?
It's a family matter.
Good diplomatic move, Sarge.
I mean, it's a matter for the nation.
You want Bob there so you can have him throw all your enemies into jail.
You'll have to build a whole lot more jail cells in that case.
This is a very serious matter. Now, why don't you tell me what you want, who you need, so I can help you see the issues clearly?
Look, I don't want to discuss this anymore.
Why don't you two talk it over?
Okay.
You're as much a Kennedy as I am.
Maybe even more so.
You know what that means.
If he doesn't take this job, I'll be crucified.
Yes.
Such a wonderful opportunity to be of service. There's no man of your age in this country who wouldn't accept.
Yes, there is. Robert Kennedy. Yeah, okay, she'll be right down. Come on, you're very late.
They want me to go in front of those harpies from the press looking like a janitor's wife, do
You can't keep them waiting much longer.
Tell them I'm out.
I will. Yes. Oh, hi.
Who is it?
It's for me.
Tell him you're out.
I'm out. Goodbye. All set?
I guess so. How do I
Good.
look?
You're fine. Let's go.
Jack, you never even looked at me.
Jackie, I'm looking. You're fine.
Well, I don't feel like I look fine. I don't like being photographed when I'm pregnant.
A lot of people are interested in you because you are pregnant.
Well, I know that, but I don't belong to them.
Nobody's saying you do.
Well, everybody treats me as if I do. mean, this house is surrounded by people day and night. They never go away. I mean, how do they think I feel?
I guess they don't think about it too much.
Well, maybe they ought to, about me and the children. But I have a right to privacy, just like anyone else. I won't be kept prisoner in my own house.
What about the hat?
You wear it.
Won't the burden of very large-scale White House entertaining be a terrible strain to so young a First Lady?
Oh, yeah?
Why don't you make speeches?
Because my husband is better at it than I am.
Mrs. Kennedy, you're incredibly confident for the daughter of a broken family. You have a stepsister, a half-sister, 2 stepbrothers, and a half-brother. What contributed to so mixed a family?
Divorce.
Senator Kennedy has received many letters saying your hair is a mess. What are you going to do about it?
Well, what do you suggest I do? I don't think that I will ever fit the Main Street apple pie image. Do you?
How did you fall in love, Jackie?
Heavily.
Do you really like politics?
I enjoy politics enough to have married a rather successful politician.
What are your plans for the White House social scene?
I think my social secretary would like to say a few words about that.
Sure. I'm Tish Baldridge. We're going to be having lots more press conferences like this one. Mrs. Kennedy will have so much news to impart to you. The White House will be turned into a showcase of American art and history.
Thank you very much.
Jacqueline, pregnant, was asked what she hoped her child would be. Smiling beautifully, she said, either a boy or a girl. Washington is filled with the spirit of a new style today.
And filled with more class than this nation has ever seen or ever will see.
That concludes Mrs. Kennedy's press conference from
Get Jackie on the phone. Congratulate her, Rosie. Tell her she's terrific.
I hope we did okay. Ethel, you've got to get Bobby to come to the White House with Jack. Jack needs him. I know. I'm working on it. You're having a great time, aren't you?
Sure. There's so much happening, so much excitement, a lot going on.
Well, watch out for that. I mean, it may seem like fun, but it isn't. Look, Jack's always away.
But it is fun.
Yeah, I know, but there's another side to it. I have to make a home for him, or leave politics on the doorstep.
No Kennedy could do that.
Well, I've plans. You wait and see.
All right, I will. Thanks very much, Orville. I'm very pleased. Goodbye. You got Orville Freeman for Secretary of Agriculture. Now all we have to do is find a postmaster and an attorney general.
So far, so good. Yeah, so far, great.
Does that mean you accept attorney general?
Well, that's one you're not going to win.
You know the definition of a loser?
A Yale man.
Behind the wheel of an Edsel.
Or with a sticker on the bumper that reads Nixon.
Am I moving around too much, Mrs. DeCooney?
Yes.
Well, I apologize, but it's their fault. Kenny, I noticed those Secret Servicemen out there in suits look overdressed and uncomfortable.
What would you like them to wear?
Well, ask them to dress for the beach and tell them to relax.
I'll speak to them.
Keep those very difficult for me to sit still for any length of time. I hope you forgive me.
I understand.
Maybe you should do Pierre. He never moves.
Dulles and Bissell are here.
Very well.
What do they want?
And we'll find out soon enough.
All right. I'll be in the study.
All right, Bobby. Dave, would you tell him I'll be right there?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind if I have a look at myself?
Not at all.
It's amazing.
It's just a start.
Yeah. We seldom see ourselves as artists do. Alan, how are you?
Thank you for letting us take up your time.
Not at all.
May I introduce Richard Bissell?
Mr. Bissell, what has Yale got to tell Harvard?
There's a matter we'd like to brief you on, sir. A secret matter.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Thank you, Dave. Sit down, gentlemen.
Now, I have not asked President Eisenhower's permission to visit you.
That's a matter between you and President Eisenhower.
Well, I would appreciate it if...
If I wouldn't say anything? Alan, I've reappointed you director of the CIA. What you tell me is my business, no one else's.
Appreciate that, sir.
Be brief.
We'd like you to know about an important intelligence initiative. Cuba.
Go on.
You have to make an inaugural memorable.
phrase by phrase, like Lincoln's Gettysburg. Spare, sparse.
That's good, Ted.
Taking the campaign phrases we dreamed up. It's time, in short, for a new generation of Americans. Or the televised address from Washington, September 20th. We do not campaign stressing what our country is going to do for us as a people. We stress what we can do for the country, all of us.
That's good, Arthur. Don't ask what the nation can do for you, ask what you can do for the nation. Good.
Now, use country, not nation. And introduce my fellow Americans.
You're telling me we can establish a beachhead in Cuba, and with what you call a surgical operation, we can neutralize Castro effectively, decisively, with no U.S. military involvement?
That's right, sir.
But this will involve anti-Castro Cuban forces already inside Cuba, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How far have you progressed with this plan?
President Eisenhower approved it and the training of anti-Castro forces.
Where?
Beyond our shores.
Where? You know, I must know everything.
Guatemala.
How many men are involved?
An entirely adequate force.
And how much is all this costing?
President Eisenhower authorized a training expenditure.
How much?
$13 million.
President Eisenhower didn't rate Cuba that high a priority. The vice president does.
Mr. Nixon does?
Yes, sir. Mr. Nixon has taken a personal interest in the whole operation.
I'm not surprised.
But you yourself did make a campaign statement in support of Cuban freedom fighters.
Yes, but I did not know I was endorsing a military force.
Well, it's not military precisely, sir.
Well, then, what are you calling it?
It's a clandestine force, sir. Not an invasion per se. It's the child of CIA planning and funding. We take a communications center. We use an unexpected site, the Bahia de Cochinos.
The what?
The Bay of Pigs.
Now, we don't want this intelligence passed to any other government agency.
What about the Joint Chiefs of Staff?
We don't want them to know about it either.
Well, you understand, gentlemen, I'll have to decide about that. Now, tell me what it is you're asking for.
Your authorization to continue this into the next administration.
Complete control.
With you both being personally in charge.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we should use nation in reference to other countries. For example, let every nation know, what, et cetera, et cetera. There we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe.
And introduce liberty?
Why not?
But $13 million on an invisible operation is a lot of money, don't you agree?
Yes, sir.
Well spent if what you're saying, if what you believe is that you can harness an internal revolutionary force against Castro.
Right from within, that's what's so good about it.
But if you lose control of the reins or anything like that...
That won't happen.
If it does, I don't care to think of the consequences.
You need have no fear on that score, sir. We've got new men, new ideas, a great deal of energy.
With no U.S. military involvement?
None will be necessary, sir.
Now, as long as we're clear about that, I will authorize continuance of the plan, but keep me informed. I want to keep my options open. I still don't care to think of the consequences if anything goes wrong. I appreciate your initiative, and even though you're a Yale man, I like your style.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.